Hello and welcome to the introduction for this course. What are the course requirements? You need a computer and internet connection to follow along with this course. Who is this course for? This course is for anyone who wants to learn something new. What is the course format? The format of the course is video. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to take a look at the installation requirements to install Oracle on a Windows computer. Here's a list of the system requirements. For operating system, you need to be on a Windows 10 computer, 64-bit processor, Windows Server 2012 Release 2, 64-bit processor, or Windows Server 2016, also Windows Server 2019. You can also use virtualization. Oracle certifies the following virtualization technologies with Oracle database on Windows. So you can use Oracle VM Server or Microsoft Hyper-V. For disk space, you need 8.5 gigabyte minimum for Oracle software plus 2 gigabyte or more for temporary storage. For RAM, you need at least 2 gigabyte of RAM at minimum. There are also permission requirements. You must be part of the administrator groups on Windows to be able to install Oracle Database XE. If you are logged in as a domain user, ensure that you are connected to the network before you install Oracle Database XE. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to download Oracle Database. The link to download Oracle Database is displayed on the screen. This is the download page to download Oracle Database XE. As of the time I'm recording this video, the current version is Oracle Database 21C Express Edition. So there are 3 links here for download. So you download the link relevant to your operating system. If you're using a Linux-based system, then download from the link that says Linux. I've got a Windows computer, so I'm going to click for the link that says Windows 64. So I click on it. The download has started. You can see the download on the bottom left-hand corner of my screen. It's a fairly large download. It's 1.8 gigabyte in size, so it may take a while to download. The downloaded file is going to be in a zipped format. So you can see here it's got .zip, which means the files are going to be compacted. So you will need to extract the files using a software extraction tool. The icon you can see here in the download is for WinRAR. WinRAR is a software extraction tool that you can install and then use that to unzip any software that contains a zip file. If you have not got any software extraction tool on your computer, you can do a search for WinRAR on Google and then just click on the download WinRAR link here. From the download page for WinRAR, you can just download the relevant link and then install it. And that will enable you to extract the content of the Oracle database file. The download has completed, so this is a completed download. Usually it will download it to your downloads folder. So this is my downloads folder, and you can see this is the downloaded file. It's a zipped file, so that means the content is compacted. So I'll need to extract it, and I'm going to extract it using WinRAR. This is the icon for WinRAR. I've already got WinRAR installed on my computer. I want to extract the downloaded file into a folder. So I'm going to create a folder in this directory. So I right click and select new folder. I'm going to call it Oracle Database. So I've created a new folder called Oracle Database, and I'm going to right click and copy the downloaded file into this new folder I created. I now have a copy of the downloaded file in this directory I created called Oracle Database. I'm going to go into the directory, and this is a copy of the file. So to extract the file, I'll right click on it and select extract here. So it will extract the content into the folder. So give it a few minutes to complete that. The content of the file has been extracted. So this is the extracted content in this directory that I created. In this video, I downloaded Oracle Database and also extracted the content of the downloaded file. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to install Oracle. In the previous video, I downloaded and extracted the Oracle database files into a folder I created called Oracle Database. I'm going to open the folder and run the setup.exe file. Double click on the setup.exe file. You may get the user account control dialog box pop up. Click on the yes button to continue. Click next, then accept the license agreement and click next again. Accept the default installation directory and click on the next button. Enter and confirm a database password that will be used for the SYS, the system, and PDBS admin accounts. Once you have entered and confirmed the password, click on the next button. Check the details on the summary screen are correct, then click on the install button. Please note that the installation process can take a while depending on your system's configuration and resources, so please be patient. You may get a Windows Defender firewall message pop up. Click Allow access to continue. The installation is now completed. The final installation screen also displays the connection strings to connect to the database on your computer. You can click on the Finish button to exit the setup screen. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to connect to the Oracle database server using SQL+. SQL+ is an Oracle database command line interface utility. It is commonly used by administrators and programmers to interact with the Oracle database. SQL+ is installed when you install Oracle. To access the SQL+, go to your Start menu and then look for the Oracle folder. It's going to be called OraDB21 Home 1. Click on the drop down and there should be an icon for SQL+. So click on SQL+. You are prompted to enter a username. Whoever installed the Oracle database will automatically have the system DBA privileges and does not need to connect to the Oracle database using a password. To connect to the database as a system DBA, just do a slash space and then type in as sysdba and press enter, and that should connect. You can see it says connected to Oracle database 21C Express Edition. The next thing I want to do is to get a list of pluggable databases. To get a list of pluggable databases in the system, the command you need to type is select space name from $PDBS, and then you add a colon and then press enter, and that will display all the pluggable databases. XAPDB1 is a pluggable database. A pluggable database which is also known as PDB, is a portable collection of schemas, schema objects, and non-schema objects that appear to an Oracle client. To connect to the pluggable database, you type in connect space sys / the password that you specified during the installation of the Oracle database at localhost, if you have it installed on your local machine, colon, the port number / xcpbdb1 space as space sysdba colon, and press enter, and you should get a message saying connected. In this video, I connected to the Oracle database using SQL+. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, I'll be going through some basic database concepts. We'll begin with the database, what a database is. A database basically is a collection of organized information or data that is stored in a table. A table, on the other hand, stores information in rows and columns. So a table will store usually a collection of related data entries in columns and rows. This table here is similar to what a database table is. So the columns are horizontal. For example, this word terminology can be referred to as a column, and this word meaning can be referred to as a column. The rows, these rows are going vertical. So these database, table, columns, all these are referred to as row. So basically, this is how the table is structured in a database table. So you've got the columns going horizontal and the rows going vertically. Each row in a database table is referred to as a record. A schema is a collection of database objects. I will show you examples of this later on in the course. So any item is referred to as an object in a database. A database is an object, a table is an object, a view is an object. So these are all objects. So a collection of database objects housed in a container is referred to as a schema. Primary key. A primary key is a unique identifier, such as your driving license number or your health insurance record. Is a unique identifier that is used to identify unique records. So no two people can have the same records. So you are able to enforce that using a primary key. A foreign key, on the other hand, is like a primary key, but not exactly. It is used to reference a primary key in another table. For example, if table A has a primary key and table B has a primary key too, so you can have the primary key from table 2 acting as a foreign key in table 1. Likewise, you can have the primary key in table 2 acting as a foreign key in table 1, or vice versa. So a foreign key usually is used to reference another primary key in another table, but primary keys are unique per table. You can't have two primary keys in one table. There are two other concepts I want to illustrate with you. We've got the relational database. A relational database is a database with related tables. Also, we've got the concept of relational database management system. It's referred to as RDBMS for short. It is the software that manages the databases. So examples of the relational database management systems are Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL. There is a lot more, but I've just restricted my examples to these three. So these are the basic database concepts that you will come across when working with SQL. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to create a new database user and also grant the database user access. Make sure you are connected to the pluggable database. Then type in the command create space user space demo user, which is the name of the user account I want to create, space identified by demo user, space default, and then you specify the table space, which is users, and then the quota is going to be unlimited space on users. Once you've typed that in, press enter, and if successful, it will tell you the user has been created. To grant access to a database user, you type in the word grant, followed by the access you want to give the user. For this user, I want to give the user create session, and then I want the user to be able to create table. So I'm granting create session and create table to the user called demo user. I'm going to press enter, and that should say grant succeeded. The next thing I'm going to do is to connect to the pluggable database with the new user I just created. So the command you type is connect space demo user slash demo user, so the username slash the password at localhost colon the port number slash xcpdb1, and then press enter, and if successful it should say connected. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to create a new database table and also insert data into that table. Connect to the pluggable database using a valid user. I have connected to the pluggable database using an account called demo user. I have typed in a command to create a new table called test table, and the table is going to have one column which is called test call, and the data type that's going to be stored in that column is going to be a number data type. So I'm going to press enter, and that should create the table. So you can see it says table created. The next thing I want to do is to insert a row of data into that table. I have typed in the command to insert a row of record into the table. So I am inserting into the table called test table, and the values I am inserting is 247247. So I'm going to press enter on my keyboard, and if successful it should say one row created. When you insert data into the table, you also have to commit it. So you type in the commit command and then press enter, and that will commit the row into the table. The next thing I want to do is to query the table so we can see the record we've just inserted into the table. To query the table, you type in select star from the table, which is called test table. Star basically means query all the columns in that table. So I'm going to press enter, and that will return the record stored in the table. So you can see this is the record I inserted, and that's what has been returned by the query. So that's it for this video. In this video, I created a table and also inserted a record into the table. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to start and shut down the Oracle database server using the Windows services. Do a search for services on your Windows startup search bar and then click on the services app. When the services app launches, scroll down until you see the Oracle Service XE. Click on it to select it. At the moment, the status says it is running. If you want to stop it, just right click on it and then click stop. And if it's not running, the start option should be bold and you should be able to click on it to start it. So let me give you a quick demo. So I'm going to stop it. It's currently running. I'll right click and select stop, and it's trying to stop it. So we'll give it a few minutes to stop that. So it has stopped. If you see here, it doesn't say it's running anymore. So I want to start it again. I'll right click and click on start, and that should restart the database server. So that's it for this video. In this video, I showed you how to start and stop the Oracle database server. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this video. What is SQL Developer? SQL Developer is a free graphical user interface. It allows database users and administrators to perform a variety of database related tasks. It is also a productivity tool. Its main objective is to help the end user save time and also maximize the return on investment in the Oracle database technology stack. SQL Developer also supports earlier versions of Oracle database like version 10G, 11G, and 12C. SQL Developer will run on any operating system that supports Java. Let's take a look at some of the uses for SQL Developer. Developers can use SQL Developers to run queries, store procedures, test. They can also use it to document database programs and other related tasks. Database administrators can use SQL Developer to manage their databases and perform a variety of administrative tasks such as backup, security, and so on. Application architects and data modelers can use SQL Developers for data modeling, for scripting, reporting, and a variety of other tasks. Web developers and administrators can use SQL Developer to administer Oracle REST data services for creating and altering RESTful services. Oracle SQL Developer integrates with Oracle Apex, which allows you to browse applications and perform other application express activities. With Oracle SQL Developer, you can browse, you can export, you can import, you can drop or deploy applications. SQL Developer is a very useful tool to have. It improves your productivity when you're working on Oracle databases. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to download Oracle SQL Developer. The link to download Oracle SQL Developer is displayed on the screen. This is the web page to download Oracle SQL Developer. Click on the Download SQL Developer button. You're then redirected to the download page. So depending on your operating system, select the relevant download link. I'm on a Windows computer. I'm going to download this link here, which includes the JDK. JDK basically stands for Java Development Kit. So I'm going to click on that link. You will get a pop-up, so make sure you check to accept the license and then click on the Download SQL Developer. You must have an account on Oracle before it will allow you to download. If you don't have an account, you'll be presented with the login and registration screen. So make sure you sign in before you can download. So I've already signed in, so I'm going to click on the download link, and you can see the download has started for me on the bottom left hand corner of my screen. So I'll give it a few minutes to complete. The size is 439 megabytes. The download has completed, so this is my downloads directory and this is the downloaded file. The file is a compact file, so it is zipped, so you need to extract the content. So I'm going to extract the content using WinRAR. So I'll right click and select extract here, and it will extract the content into my downloads folder. The content of the downloaded file has been extracted into this folder called SQL Developer. So I'm going to open the folder. So this is the content of the SQL Developer. To use the SQL Developer, all you need to do is click on the SQL Developer application file. It doesn't require installation, you just click on it. If you want to make things easy, you can create a shortcut to this on your desktop. So I'm going to right click on it, and then I'm going to send it to my desktop and create a shortcut. So this is the shortcut I created to the SQL Developer. So anytime I want to use it, I just click on the shortcut and that will launch the SQL Developer. So you can see it's trying to load the SQL Developer. If this is the first time you are running the SQL Developer, you may get this message about importing references from previous SQL Developer installation. I'm going to click no to that. This is what the Oracle SQL Developer interface looks like. So I'm going to exit. I'll click File and Exit. Anytime I want to launch it, I've already created a shortcut on my desktop. I'll just double click on it to launch the SQL Developer. In this video, I downloaded Oracle SQL Developer. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to download the Oracle sample schemas. Link to download the sample schemas is displayed on the screen. This is the web page to download the Oracle Database 21C sample schemas. There are two files. They both do the same thing. So you can download the source code.zip file or the source code.tar file. I'm going to be downloading the source code.zip file. So I'll click on it. I've clicked on the source code.zip so you can see it being downloaded on the bottom left hand corner of my screen. I'm going to right click on the downloaded file and select extract here to extract the content. The content is going to be extracted into my downloads folder. The content has been downloaded into a folder called DB sample schema, and this is the content. The downloaded schema folder has to be placed in a specified directory where Oracle will look for it. This is the default location where Oracle will look for your schemas, provided you installed Oracle in the default location. I'm going to copy the downloaded schema directory into where Oracle looks for it. So I go to my computer, click on the app directory, my username, product 21C, and then look for DB home exe. Inside there should be a folder called demo. So I click on the demo folder. Inside demo, there should be a schema folder, and inside that schema folder is where I copy the downloaded schema directory. So that's it for this video. In this video, I downloaded the sample Oracle database schemas. Thanks for watching. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to unlock the sample HR schema account. I will be using the SQL developer to unlock the sample HR schema. So I'm going to open the SQL developer and then connect to it using my system account. So any connections you have will be listed on the Oracle connections. So this is a connection I have for system account. So I click on the plus sign to log in. So I just enter my password. I've entered my password, so I click OK. I have connected to the database using my system account. Next, I'm going to go to where the schemas are stored in the Oracle database. So this is the location. I'm going to open up the schema folder. So this is the schema folder. So I'm going to click to open it. We have different schemas in this DB sample schema folder, and the schema I want to unlock is the human resources schema. So I'm going to click to open it. There are different script files in this folder. There's 10 in total. I'm going to be using this script file, which is called HR_main. I'm going to execute this script file inside my SQL developer, and this will enable me to unlock the sample HR schema account. So I'm going to copy the path here into my SQL developer. So I right click, I'll copy, and I'll paste it into my SQL developer. So I click on paste. So this is the actual path to where the schema is stored. So I'm going to add the name of the script file. So I'll do a slash. So I've added the name of the script file, which is HR_main.sql. Before I can execute this script, I have to add the @ symbol at the beginning of the path. I've added the @ symbol at the beginning of the path. To execute this script, I click on the play button here. You'll be given an option to specify the password for the HR as parameter 1. So you need to enter the value for the parameter 1. So I'm going to type in HR. So I've entered the value HR as the password. So I'll click OK. Next, I need to supply a value for the default table space for HR. So here I need to enter the value for the parameter 2. I'm going to call it users. I've entered the value of users for the default table space. So I click OK. The next option is to specify a temporary table space for HR as parameter 3. I'm going to enter a value as temp, so I'll click OK. Next, we need to specify the password for the sys as parameter 4. When you install the Oracle database, you would have been prompted for a password, so that is the password you need to specify. I've entered the password, so I'm going to click OK. Next, I have to specify a log path as parameter 5. The value is going to be the path where the log is stored, which is stored in the schema directory inside the demo directory. So click OK to that. Next, we need to specify a connection string as parameter 6. So I'm going to enter the value here. I've entered the value of localhost : 1521/xepdb1. I'm going to click OK. The script has executed successfully, and we can see the user HR has been created, and the user HR has been altered. Altered basically means we've also provided a password for that user account. In this video, I unlocked the sample HR schema account. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to unlock the sample HR schema tables. I'm going to use the SQL developer to unlock the sample HR schema tables. So I'm going to click to launch the SQL developer. I'm going to connect to the Oracle database using the HR schema account. I've already created a connection setting for it. It's called HR. So I'm going to click to sign in to the account. I'm just going to enter my password to connect to the database. I've entered my password. I click OK to check if I have any tables listed in my HR schema. I'm going to execute this query, which is select star from tab, and that will return any tables I have in the HR schema. So I'm going to click on the play button to execute the query. The query has returned nothing. This is the location where the sample database schemas are stored in Oracle. So I'm going to open up the folder and I'm going to open up the human_resources folder, which is the HR. There are 10 script files located in the human resources folder. I'm going to execute all the script I have highlighted. I'm going to copy the location of the script files. So I'm going to select this. So this is the location of my script files. So I'm going to copy that and then execute the queries I want. These are the SQL script I'm going to execute inside my SQL developer that will unlock the sample HR schema tables. Each of the script files includes the @ symbol and the location where the script is located, followed by the script name .SQL. I've copied the location of the script into the SQL developer query editor. So I'm going to execute all of them together. So I need to click on the second play button here, the smaller one. That enables me to execute everything inside the query editor. So I'm going to click on it and you can see it's executing the queries and it's creating the relevant tables. So we'll give it a few minutes to execute. As you can see, it's going through each of the script line by line and executing the content of the script. All the scripts specified have been successfully executed. If we right click on the tables folder inside the HR connection settings, click on refresh and that will refresh. You can see now the table folder has been refreshed. You can see we now have the following tables inside the HR schema unlocked. If I execute this command again, select star from tab, it will show all the tables from the HR schema. So you can see these are the 8 tables that have been unlocked from the sample HR schema. I have typed in a query to return all the data stored in the table called employees. So I'm using select star, basically means return all the columns and all the rows from the table called employees. So I'm going to click to execute. So in the output here is the data stored in the table called employees. So we have a total of 107 records returned by this query. So that's it for this video. In this video, I unlocked the sample tables belonging to the HR schema. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to connect to Oracle using the sample HR account. I've got SQL Developer opened. I'm going to create a new connection for the HR account. So I click on the green plus icon here, and this gives me the new database connection dialog box. I'm going to give the connection a name. I'm going to call it HR. I've given the connection a name. I've called it HR in uppercase. The username for the HR account is HR in lowercase. Next, I need to enter the password for the HR account. The password for the HR account is also HR. Host name, the port number, the seed has been auto-populated. I need to enter a value for the service name. So make sure you click on the service name radio button and then enter the value for the service name. I have entered a value for the service name. The value is XEPDB1. I'm going to test the connection. I'll click on test. The test has generated a status of success. So I'm going to click to connect. I have now connected to the database using the HR account. In this video, I connected to the Oracle database using the HR account. Thanks for watching. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to install Toad for Oracle databases. In the previous video, I downloaded Toad for Oracle. So this is the download in my downloads folder. So I'm going to double click to start the installation. You are presented with the welcome screen for the Toad for Oracle installer. These on the left here are the steps the installer is going to take to install Oracle. So I'm going to click on next. On this page, you have to accept the license agreement. So click to check the box to accept the license agreement and then click on the next option. The next step is to supply the product license. When you downloaded the Toad for Oracle, you would have received an email with the license information. You should receive an email from Quest, which are the current owners of Toad. So this is the email I received. So I'm going to click on it. Inside the email contains the license information. So this is my license key and the site message is trial version. So I'm going to copy my license key here. Next, to add the license, click on add license, and then I'm going to paste the license key. The site message should be free trial. So if we take a look at the email here, under site message, we have trial version. So this is what I need to copy. For the site message, I need to paste in trial version. Click OK. My product license information has now been entered. So I'm going to click on the next button. Next is the product selection page where you select which product to install. So I'm going to uncheck the other products. I only want to install Toad for Oracle. So I'll click on the next button. Next is the destination selection where the software will be installed. I'm going to accept the default location. You can change it if you want by using the change button here. So I'm going to leave the default and click next and then click on the install button. You may get this user account control pop-up. Click yes to that. The time it takes to complete the installation depends on the resources on your computer. Once the installation is completed, you can click on the finish button and it places the Toad for Oracle icon on your desktop. After 30 days, you will be required to purchase the software before you can continue using it. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to connect Toad to Oracle database. I've got the Toad for Oracle icon on my desktop, so I'm going to double click to launch it. The software is trying to launch. The free trial license expires in 30 days. When Toad launches, it presents you with this interface, and you have to specify a username and password to connect to your Oracle database. There are 3 methods of connection: TNS, Direct, and LDAP. I'm going to be setting up a direct connection. So I need to specify the host. The host is going to be localhost because the database is on my local computer, and then I'll supply a username and a password. The port number should be auto-populated. It should say 1521. Next, I need to specify the service name, which is the name of the database I want to connect to. I've entered the name of the service name, which is the database I want to connect to, and I'm going to click on the connect button to make the connection. I have now connected to the database. You can see it presents me with the editor, and if you look on the editor here, it displays the connection settings. It also shows the name of the schema you are currently connected to in this window here. You can view the tables in a database from the schema browser. In the menu list here, we have the schema browser. So if I click on it, it will display the tables that I have in this schema. You can end the current session by clicking on the session option here in the menu, and then click to end connection, and that will end the current connection. You will get a pop-up message asking if you want to end the connection. I'll say yes, and that will end the connection. To exit Toad, click on the file option and click exit. In this video, I connected to my Oracle database using Toad. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this section. In this section, we'll be building bulk SQL queries using Excel. Let's have a look at what we will cover in this section. So in this section, we'll begin by exploring the sample data we will use, and then we'll build a bulk insert script with Excel. We'll also build a bulk update script using Excel. We will also build a bulk update script /delete. The reason I put /delete script is because we will have to decide whether it's ideal to build an update to sort out a delete request or actually build a delete query. So I will explain the pros and cons of using them. So let's explore the sample data we will use in the next lecture. Thank you for watching. Hello and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, I'll be introducing you to the sample data we are going to be using for this course. Let's have a look at the data. I've got a folder here called sample data. So if I open that up, I've got 2 Excel spreadsheets that we'll be using. One we will use for insert, and the other we'll use to update the data inside our table. So this one here is what we'll use for the insert. So let me open it up so you can have a look. So in this spreadsheet, we've got a list of, we've got some data here that is a list of countries and the state capitals. So here we've got 197 countries listed, and we've got the country ID. We've got a column for the country, a column for capital city, and one for second city. We've already created a table that reflects these various columns, but now we are going to build a script in our next lecture that will insert this data into the table we have created. So notice this value here, null means empty, so we'll insert this value into the table, which means it will be empty, but when we look in, it will just be a blank table. There'll be nothing in those rows for these values. All right, so this is what we're going to build. We're going to actually build the query inside this spreadsheet. So this spreadsheet will be available for you to download and follow along in the course. So this is the first spreadsheet. Let's have a look at the second. It's almost identical. It's just that the second city part is populated slightly. Let's have a look at the other table. So this is the second spreadsheet. We will be using this spreadsheet to build and update bulk SQL queries to update the data in the table. So it's identical to the first spreadsheet, in that we've got the country ID, we've got the country, and we've got the second city. We have not included the capital city because we wouldn't need that in the update. The focus for the update is this column here called second city. So we've got about 28, I think. Yeah, 28 data 28 records that will need to update in the table. So previously the first spreadsheet gives a null value, but we're going to build bulk queries that will insert these actual values here and replace it where the null values are. We're only going to insert about 28 of them, just to show you, so that we have something to work with when building the query. So that's it. We'll be working with these two spreadsheets. So that's it for this lecture on exploring the sample data. So now you've seen the data we're going to be building our queries on. Thank you so much. In the next lecture, we'll actually begin to build the queries. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to create a table. I have got Toad for Oracle Editor opened. I'm going to be using this to create the table. You can either use Toad for Oracle or you can use Oracle SQL Developer. The process is the same. So to create a table, you begin with the word create. I like to use uppercase, but it doesn't matter. You can use upper or lower. You type in the word create, space, followed by the word table. Followed by the name you want to call your table. So I'll call mine world _ countries. You do a space and then you do parentheses. In between the parentheses, if you place your cursor and just tap down to expand, and in between is where you place your values. That is the columns for the table. So I'll just indent that a little bit. So I am going to have 4 columns in the table. So the first is going to be the country ID, country underscore ID, and the data type is going to be an integer, that is a number. So number, that'll be data type. And also I don't want the values to be empty, so I'm going to make sure a value is entered. I'll do that by saying not null, and I will enable that to take effect. And then a comma. You need a comma to separate the columns. The next column is going to be the country itself. So I'll type in country, and the data type, I'm going to give it a varchar 2. I'm going to specify 4,000 bytes. I want it to store the data in that byte. That should be more than sufficient. Okay, and also I'm going to enforce the column so that the rows are not empty. So it will force you to put a value. So I'll type in not null, and then enable, and then a comma. Okay, so what I'm going to do, the next 2 columns, I'm just going to paste this twice, and I'll just change the values to save time. So do a copy, paste, and copy, paste. So I'll just indent that a bit to be in line with the others, and I'll just bring that there a bit. All right, so the next value, I want capital city. So I'm going to change this to capital city underscore city. And I'm going to leave it with the same data type, varchar 2, 4,000 byte. Also, I don't want the rows to be empty, so hence I put not null, and I've enabled it. So the next one is going to be second city. Sometimes you may need to specify a second city. So I'll type in second underscore city, and I will leave it to the same data type, but I don't want to enforce data to be inserted, so I will not specify not null. So this value here can be empty. Okay, and then comma. Next, I want to define a constraint for the primary key. To specify a constraint, you type in the word constraint. Constraint. I think I've got it right. Constraint. Yep. CONST. I think constraints. Yep. Oh, I missed out the R. There should be an R there. Okay. I think I've got it now. Constraint, followed by the name you want to call the constraint. So I'll call it country underscore PK. And then space. I'll type in primary key, and then the value will be country underscore ID, and I'm going to enable that, enable. So that is it. Notice I've not placed a comma at the end here because that's the end of the statement. So once this is done, we just execute the script, just run it, and it should create a table. It says here table created. So we have the table created. So we can do a quick select statement. Let's do it on another. Let me open a new page by clicking the plus, and I'll just type in select star from the table name, which is world underscore countries, and just run that. It should give me an empty table. There you go. So that's the table with all the columns: country ID, country, capital city, second city. So in our next lecture, we're going to start populating the table using a bulk SQL script created with Excel. Thank you so much for your time. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this lecture on building bulk insert SQL queries with Excel. In this lecture, we are going to be prepping our data inside our Excel spreadsheet, and also we'll be writing a layout of how we want the script to look like inside our Toad for Oracle editor. Using Excel to create bulk multiple SQL queries is a very good skill and will help you a lot in a live production environment where you'll be involved in dealing with data that you have to insert maybe thousands of records, update thousands of records, or delete thousands of records. So it's a useful skill to have. So let's try and prep our data. So this is a sample data. I'll open that up. And inside there, we're going to be working with this first spreadsheet here. So I'll just double click to open. This is our data. This is where we will build the insert statements. So we're going to build multiple insert statement that will insert 197 rows inside the table we created. But before we can work with the data, we need to search for some characters within the data. So we need to look for things like ampersigns or quotes and stuff. So to do that, just click any of the cells. So I'll pick that cell and do Control and F for Freddy, Control F. And inside there, just type in the ampersand. Okay, so this is the ampersand. So do a find all and it will look through the document to see if you can find any. So you can't find any. So next, let's look for the next character. Okay, do find all. Oh, it's found some. So what I tend to do is highlight the weird character. Notice there's a single quote between the Johns. This can affect the query when it is built, because with strings or text, you need to enclose them in single quotes. And if you having a single quote surrounded by this, it will get confused because it won't be able to differentiate between this single quote and the normal one. So where we have this, we'll need to put double quotes instead so that it doesn't conflict with this single quote here. So let me highlight that and I'll go to next one and highlight. I'll go find next. I'll highlight, find next. So I just highlight all the ones I can find, and that's close to the bottom of the document. So I think we found all of them now and I've highlighted them. Notice the quote between the text here. So I'll tell you what we'll do with them later. So for now, we're just prepping our document ready. So we can close that. When we're done, I click close. Another thing I tend to do is write out the sample script using Toad so that I know how to build the bulk query. So I've already done one, so I'll just explain that to you. So this is what the bulk queries will look like. So we're basically going to build this query 197 times so that we can insert the records into the table. So basically we'll start with an insert. So what I tend to do, the values that are static, that do not change, I tend to put them all in one cell. So this here, I'll copy and place in one cell. This one here, because these values do not change, I'll copy them. The values that do change are these ones here, which are values for this here, the static columns. So this is where we'll be creating the Excel formula that will insert various values to replicate what we have done here. All right, so now that we've got our layout of how we want our script to look like, and we have prepped our Excel document ready, in the next lecture, we're going to begin to build our insert query. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and bye for now. Hello and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to build bulk insert SQL queries with Excel. In the previous lecture, we prepped the data. Now we're going to build the queries. Okay, let's start building our query. So I'm in the spreadsheet at the moment. So we are going to build a query here, in this cell here. This is where we'll build a query. Let's expand this a bit. Okay, so let's have a look at the layout. So this is the layout of the query. How I want the query to go. So I'm going to build 197 of these that we will use to insert into the database, the table we created. So to begin, you put a equals to there and type in the word concat, C-O-N. Okay. Double click and then go to formulas and click on insert. Concat basically is adding text together. That's what concatenation means. So click on the insert function there and you will get something like this. So this is where we'll build our query. So what I like to do to make things easy, because we've already got the layout, I will just copy this, because these are the static values that will not change. So we can copy that inside text 1 tab. It tells you there what you've copied. So it started, this is the formula result, it's building the query here. And then the second line here for text 2, we go back here and we'll pick this all here, because this is another static value. We'll pick that, including the parentheses, right click, copy, and open up the spreadsheet and paste it in there. And then tab down, so you can see we've got that there. It's slowly building the query there. So these are the static values. So we're going to, for the variables that do change, we'll be using formulas to create those. Okay, so if I open up the editor again, we've got another, now we need to copy the values. This will be the values that will change. The values in between these parentheses here will change for every cell. So text 3, I paste in the values. See, slowly building the query there. We have to insert the parentheses here. We insert just the first part. So we come here and do a parentheses. We'll do the closing one later. So this is the opening parentheses. And then text number 5, we insert a different value there. Text number 5, so we insert value number 1, which is the value for this country ID. That variable will change, so we need to use a cell, a formula for that. All right, so for that value, we go to A2. Okay, so this value, this variable will change according to the cell. So we'll go down. We'll look at our data again. So we've now got that value in there. This is an integer, so we don't need to surround that by quotes. Now we need to insert a comma. So we come here, we insert a comma. Okay, the next value we need to do, we need to insert a quote, this value, and then a quote afterwards. So come here, we insert a single quote, and then on line 8, we insert this value here, B2, which is this one here. We've got a single quote there, so we need to enclose it with another single quote. Then after that, we need a comma. We've done this bit, so we need a comma. Come here and place a comma there. And let's open up. After the comma, we need another single quote, the value, and then a single quote. So single quote, and the value is this, and then another single quote. Okay, it's useful if you've got two screens, then you don't have to keep flipping through. So we've got that down. Then we need a comma. We are nearly there. So we've got single quote, value, single quote, comma. And then we have this value here. We don't need to enclose that in quotes. So we've got our comma here. We insert this value, which is D2. That's the null value. Once, and then we close the parentheses. Okay, and then a semicolon, and then we are done. Scroll down, and then we insert our semicolon. Okay, so we've inserted the semicolon. So the script is basically built. And then we say, okay. So let's look at a query here. Let's expand this value here. Okay, so this is a query. To replicate it, I've got it on the wrong line. So I just need to highlight it, copy. It should be on this line. Okay, make sure it's on the same, on the line, not the line with the column, but this very line here. So now that we've got it in the right line, you see where it's got this little square there that looks like a square or rectangle. Make sure your mouse is there, double click, and it should propagate through. Okay, you can see it's copied everything. If you look at it on this line here, it says it got everything, it's got the values, got the quotes surrounding it, so everything's checked out okay. So I'll just expand that properly. Okay, and you can see everything there. Okay, unfortunately this video has gone on a bit longer than I expected, so I'm going to stop here and continue in part 2. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and bye for now. Hello and welcome to the part 2 of building bulk insert SQL queries with Excel. So let's finish off where we started off in part 1. So this was the model script that we created the bulk one from. So let's have a look at the spreadsheet. So this is the spreadsheet for the query. So what we have to do now we'll just copy everything from, just do control A. Control A. Okay. Oops, sorry. Okay. I'll just copy everything from this query. We're just copying just the result. The quicker way to do this is just highlight the actual cell and just right click and copy. So it copies the entire cell. We're now going to Toad for Oracle and we open a new tab using the plus and paste it in there. Okay, one thing you have to look out for is to make sure that the queries, everything matches up. Okay, so we can see a warning sign here. I'll tell you what that warning is. I'm not sure if you could remember, but during the prepping of the data, we noticed that there were some text that had single quotes between them, like St. George's. So we had a few of them. So those will be flagged up inside our editor, Toad for Oracle editor. And I'll tell you what to do with them then. So let's go back to Toad and have a look. So this is the entire query, which is about 97 of them. So we're going to address, see these ones are all right. You can tell that they are okay. You can see everything matches up. The insert into in blue, the table name in green. These are the columns and then the values, and these are the result of the values. These are the variables for the values. So everything matches up. If you notice on line 7 here is flagged up something. This if you notice on the, when we were doing the prepping, we noticed there were some single quotes between text, and that is conflicting with the single quotes here. So to solve that, we'll need to change this single quote here to a double quote. So we'll place a double quote there and one there so that it does not interfere with the single quotes. You notice everything's gone green now, so that's sorted. There should be a few more. Let's look through. Okay, oh, there's one more here. So on line 35, if you notice here, there's a single quote and it's conflicting with a single quote. So we'll change this to a double quote and this here to a double quote, and that should solve the problem. Okay, so that looks good. There should be more. On line 43, notice this here, we need to change that by making this a double quote and then coming here and changing that value to a double quote. That should solve the problem. So let's scroll down. There should be a couple more. It's one on 68. Let's change this one here where it's got Saint. Change that to a double, and then we'll come here and change that to a double, and that fixes that. There should be one more, I think. I think there's one more towards the end. Oh yeah, okay, there you go. This one here, so change that to double quote and this to a double quote so it doesn't interfere with a single quote here. And here we just turn this into a comment and say end of script. All right, so now that we've got our script already, I'll just highlight all of them and click execute as a script. So I'm going to execute all of them as a script and it should start populating the table. So before we do that, let's have a quick look at the table, see what the table looks like. It should be empty. From world underscore countries. So this is the table. I missed out. That should be underscore. So this is the table we're trying to populate. So let's go back to our script. Now that we've got everything highlighted, we click execute as a script. And okay, we've got some errors somewhere. The reason we had some errors when we were trying to execute the script, in that the rows where we changed the quotes to double quotes, Oracle does not like double quotes in its column. So we have to trick it. The way around it is to replace the double quotes where there's an apostrophe with two single quotes. So I've done it in most of them. I'll just do it on the last one so that you can see what happens. So here on line 195, where we have to change that to single quotes and this to single quotes. And where you have these here, these quotes here, just add another and that should solve the problem. Okay, because Oracle does not like double quotes. So where we've got the quotes between the text, you just put an extra quote in and that should solve the problem. So now we can execute our query. So it's on line 197, which is the last row. So I'll go execute as a script and you can see it's doing the job now. So everything is working as planned. So when done, it should insert. There you go, it's inserted. See how quickly it is. And if you are in a production environment, you could be doing literally thousands of this type of things. So you can see how relatively easy it is to create something like this with Excel. So let's go and query our table so we can see the data. So I just do, this is a select statement and we can see, you can see now the table is populated. You can scroll all the way through. We've populated the table. See how quickly we did that? So we've got the ID, country, capital, everything populated. The third value is null, hence you've got nothing in there. So this is how you would use Excel to build bulk SQL queries to perform an insert. Thank you so much. I hope it has been useful. Take care and bye for now. In our next lecture, we'll try and build a query to update some records. Thank you so much. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to build bulk update SQL queries using Excel. Before we build the bulk script, let's have a look at the data we are trying to update. So I have already done a query here to display the data inside the table, this table called world_countries. So as you can see, these are the columns for the table. The second city column, notice the rows there are empty at the moment. So what we're going to do, we're going to populate this second city column here up to line 28. So we have got some data that we can insert to update this column. So we'll be stopping at line 28. So let's have a look at the data we are going to use. Okay, so this is the spreadsheet that we're going to build our bulk SQL queries on. The second city column here has been populated up till line 28. So we're going to use this data to insert into our table, to insert these values that we have. So let's have a look at a sample query we're going to model our bulk query on. So this is the sample query we're going to build here, something like this. So it's good to sketch out or write your sample query first, so you can have a feel of what it will look like when you build it. Also, it guides you in building the bulk queries. All right, let's begin. So let's go right to the top here. So this is where we're going to start the query on. We're going to build it here. Let's expand that. Okay, so we begin with the equals to and then type in concat, which stands for concatenation. Once that's selected, go to formulas and insert function. So this is where we'll build the queries. Okay, let's have a look at our model. So this is the model here. Let's break that down a bit so we can see. So the first thing I'll do is grab this, all this, and copy. You can do Control and C and Control V also to copy and paste. So paste that in there and go to the next text. So you see we've got the query there, it's building it there. We go back again and grab this, because these are values that are constant, they will not change. So hence it's easier to just copy them without setting a formula. So we'll come back here and paste that in. Okay, that's it, slowly building there. And then number 3, okay, we've got this city here. So this is a variable that will change. So we need to start using a formula for that. So notice it's got quotes on either side because it's a text. So we need to apply the quotes for the string. So we need to insert a single quote. And then on here, we need to insert the cell, which is this one here. Okay. No, sorry, that's not the one we want. We actually want this one here, C2, because it says here, let's have a look at the model. So where city equals this, it was referring to the second city. All right, and then another single quote there. Okay, let's go down. Let's have a look at our model. And next this also is a constant. This doesn't change. We can copy all of that because that does not change. Copy that, open our spreadsheet and paste that in. You can see it's building it there on the bottom. Finally, we are almost there. We need to insert this value and then the semicolon. So the value is the country ID. So that is a variable that will change. So we need to use a formula. So we come here and type in this value, which is the country ID value. You can see it there. I think our query is complete. Next, we just need to insert the semicolon, that, and the query is complete, and we say OK. So this is the query. Let's have a look at our model. You can see it looks the same. This is the model here, and look at the query we've created. So I think we've done a good job. Okay, now we need to replicate that across. So why this little square here, put your mouse, once it turns into a cross, just double click and it replicates true. So let's expand that. So you can see, so we need the data up till line 28. If you notice here, after line 28 here, it inserts some dummy data. We don't want that. So we'll get rid of data from here. I just say right to the end, we delete that because we do not need that data. We haven't got the data for that. Okay, just highlight all that and delete. So the data we're going to work with, it's ending on line 28. So now that we've got that, I'm going to stop this lecture here because it's gone on a bit long, and in part 2 we will copy the script and just check if there are any weird characters that's going to prevent the script from running. Thank you so much for your time. Take care and bye for now. Hello and welcome to this lecture, the part 2 of the building bulk update SQL queries with Excel. So we'll continue where we left off in part 1. So this is the bulk SQL queries that we created in part 1. So now we're going to copy them into our tool for Oracle editor and then run them in bulk as a script. So just highlight the cell, copy, and open up Toad. Let's bring that up a bit, and let's open up a new window, editor window. I just bring that down a bit, and let's click the plus to reveal a new window, and then right click and paste. Let's have a look at our query. Let's look through to check if there are any errors. If there are any errors, usually it will be on the side and you get a red blob there telling you. So let's look through, make sure there are no errors. You can see, you can tell sometimes by the coloration. You can see like all the update match, this country match, the set matches, everything matches. You can see the quotes on either side of the text. Text is also referred to as string. So you can see all the values match up. Let's have a look. Make there are no errors. We will just execute the script. Okay, it appears there are no errors, no weird characters like extra single quote between the text. There's nothing like that. So once we're ready, we'll put the cursor there at the last line there, which is line 29. We know where the cursor is, and then run this. You click execute as a script. So I click on that and you can see it's doing its thing. So it has inserted, it tells you here 28. So it inserted 28 rows. When you run script, always remember to do the update as well, to commit. Okay, even though we've inserted some data or modified the data, we also need to commit by clicking on this button here that says commit. So once you do that, it actually commits what you've done to the database. Without the commit, the data doesn't always become permanent. So it tells you here, row line 28 is the last row that was inserted. So let's do a query just to check on the database to see where we are. So we do a select star from world_countries. Remember, this is the column here that will be populated up to line 28, up to this line here. So let's execute. As you can see, the data is in. You can see that. If I scroll down up to line 28, you should notice some data. Okay, so let's go down a bit. Okay, so that's where it stops, line 28. So we have successfully modified or updated the data in our table using bulk SQL queries. The process is the same whether you're doing a few dozen or whether you're doing 10,000. You use the same process. So you can see how easy and quickly it is to build SQL queries in bulk using Excel to simplify the work you have to do. So that's it for this lecture. In our next lecture, we are going to try and remove the rows from this table, this column here. So these values that we've just modified, we're going to try and remove them all, or at least remove some. Okay, so we do that in the next lecture. Thank you so much for your time. Take care and bye for now. Hello and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to be deleting some rows from our database table. We are going to use update SQL queries to achieve that, and I will explain why. We are going to use the update rather than actually using the delete keyword to do the deletion. So we'll be building bulk update SQL queries, but to achieve a delete function. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, say for example, we had a request that the update we performed on this column here, second city, that they want it removed because it's not complete. So they want all the data that we updated or inserted into this column here. They want all the data removed. So all these rows, these are all rows. So like this one, that one, they want all the rows from this column removed. The best way to achieve that is to use update statements. With the update statement, we can set the values in these rows to null, and that will make them empty, which is kind of like achieving the same objective. The reason why it's not advisable to use a delete function rather than use update, it's better not to use a delete, because when you use the delete will delete the entire row. It doesn't just delete a row specific to the column. So if I was to use a delete instead of an update, it will wipe out the entire row that I've highlighted. So it doesn't just remove the row under the second city column, it will remove under the capital city, under the country, under the ID, it removes everything. Okay, so that's the distinction between using a delete and an update. So however, if the request was to remove the entire row, for example, the one row number, the one ID 25, they want all the data removed, then in that case we can use the delete keyword to achieve that, because it will remove all the entire row. So know the distinction and when to use update and when to use delete. Delete removes the entire row. Update can impact just the cell or the row, the record under that column. So now that we know the distinction, we are going to build an update bulk query to remove the data from this second city column. Okay, as usual, I have written out the model script that I will build on top of. So this is what we're going to build. So this is the statement: update the world underscore countries, that's the table, and we're going to set the value in the table in the column second city. We're going to set it to null. So all the records under this column will be null. Null means empty. Okay, where the country ID is this. So the country ID will use to determine which records we will set. Okay, so now that we've got our model script set out, let's go over to our spreadsheet. Okay, so this is the spreadsheet we're going to build the query on. I'll just expand that. So we're going to start building it from that line. So we're going to make all this value here. This was what we inserted in our previous video. We're going to make all this value empty on the database table. I've already showed you what the structure looks like. So we're going to build queries that will make that empty. This video has gone on a bit long, so I'm going to split that in two. In part 2, we're going to build the actual bulk queries inside this spreadsheet. So I'm going to end this lecture here and we'll continue in part 2. Thank you so much for your time. Take care and bye for now. Hello and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to continue to build our bulk update SQL queries using Excel. We're going to use that to delete rows or records from a column in a table. Okay, I've got the spreadsheet with the data and also our model inside our Total Oracle editor. So this is what we are going to model our bulk queries on here. So to begin, we'll come to the cell that we want to build the query on, which is this cell. Put an equals to there and then type in concat, C-O-N-C. Click on it, one click or double, and then go to your formulas and go insert. So this is where we'll begin. So let's look at the model. So we copy the parts that do not change first, which is this. So we'll copy this here. Copy the spaces as well. Right click, copy, go to our spreadsheet, right click, paste. Go to the second text. It says built it there and it's also building it there. Second text will be this. This also does not change. So copy that, including the equals to. Actually, we can copy the null as well because we don't want this variable to change. So that will be used. Copy that and right click, paste. Go to the next. You can see that update world countries, set second city equals to null because that will not change. Okay, this also will not change where ID equals to. So this is going to be a simple query to build. Then we'll put in there. Excellent. You can see it there. It's building it there. So that means the only variable we're going to change is 1. And then we have to add a semicolon. So we use our cell, we'll come here and we go to here, country ID, put that there, and then come here and put a semicolon to end the query. So that's it. and then you click OK. So query has been built. We just come here again, look where that little square is, put your cursor there until it turns like a cross, double click, and it replicates across. So we don't want this on the entire cell, so we're going to stop it when we get to line 28. Okay, so this is where we want it to end, because this is where the data stops. So we'll delete from there. We'll delete all the rest. Just scroll down. Okay, that's the last. Oops, I think I overshot that again. So let's go back from here. Just highlight and delete. Okay, so we got the data we want. Just gonna copy that. Copy the cell. One click, right click, copy, and paste it into our editor. Let's bring that up a bit. I'll open a new window with a plus and paste it in there. The first thing we need to check for is any weird characters. If there's any, our query should complain. Let's move that up a bit. Okay. So usually any errors will be highlighted on the left. So let's scroll through. I can't see anything at the moment. Everything looks okay. So we're going to be inserting or deleting 28 records. We're not actually, we are deleting in a way, because we're going to, rather than delete, we're going to insert the null value in there, which will make it blank. So it's as good as delete. It's the safest option when you have this, when you've got all the data that you don't want to remove in the rows. So you place your cursor on the last query there and you execute. So you should execute a total of 28 lines. You should insert data there. So I click here that says execute as a script. Executing as a script will execute all in a sequence. So do that. You see it's doing that. Excellent. So it's done that. It has inserted the records. After that, I need to commit it by clicking on the commit there. I click commit. So now let's do a query, and we can see this. Currently there's some data there, but if I run the query now, it should be empty. So let's move that here a bit. And okay, and just execute as a single query. You can see the data is now blank, so there's nothing there for that column. So you can see the advantage of using the null to set the value to null, because it makes it empty. So it's as good as deletion. It's best not to use delete if you've got all that data in the row. This entire is a row, so what we've done is the safest option, in these circumstances. There may be other circumstances where you need to delete the entire row. In that case, you'll be using a delete keyword rather than an update. So the process is the same. The process for building queries is the same, whether you're doing an insert, an update, a delete. You can also build bulk queries for select statements, but it's more useful towards deletions, updates, and inserts. So thank you so much for your time. Take care and bye for now.